Yo, can you hear me? Time to wake up.
哇，看到没？三个太阳今天。哎呦我的天喽嘞，简直是个啥子阵喽！你不看了三个太阳哦，我的天嘞，三个太阳！哇，看到没？三个太阳今天。哎呦我的天喽嘞，简直是个啥子阵喽！
Given your reach, given your platform, and given the people that you've reached over the years, the fact that you openly talk about the UFO file, I think, is another reason why you experience as much resistance as you do. But I think it's a brave step as well. One of the things I will tell you about what happens when people get knowledge about the UFO file, and I've seen it over and over again, when I've gone deep into things that can be proven and have evidence and have witness having things like that, people are absolutely stunned by the level of secrecy that's involved, and they live in a kind of dream world about the fact that this whole breakaway technology exists. They know that the government has something in the background, that they're more advanced, but they can never imagine the level of lying and secrecy and that wall of secrecy that takes place. So you're absolutely right. If you go back even a couple of centuries and go into people like Goethe, for example, there's a guy who's deeply well-versed in spirituality, but deeply well-versed in scientific matters. And that whole kind of Renaissance man idea, was a more complete, holistic version of a human being. And what happened, I think, over time is they splintered these things. And, with psychology and all the rest of it, we got away from the spiritual intertwining of this, and we entered into a scientific materialism, which we are at the apex of right now. And basically, I know that one thing that Musk is famous for saying is that, we're at a fork in the road and all the rest of it. It's very interesting to me because the very organization and the very kind of overemphasis, I would say, around space and the secret space program and the kind of, besides the normal aspirations that humanity has, there's another group that wants to use space for an entirely different purpose. And that's a huge covert war. This is how obsessed, if we think about the deep state and how obsessed they are with having that advantage in terms of information. They had studied a group of people thinking that these people had reincarnated during a period of time when there was advanced technology in our ancient past, and they wanted to get from their unconscious minds memories of their past lives and study their past lives to figure out what the technology that was operational then. So when you're talking about...
They also study whether maybe it wasn't classical Hindu reincarnation model of understanding what people were experiencing, but that it's a deeper epigenetic instincts that actually the cells, depending on the people and the time and when they have the children, what's going on, express those genetic memories that can also be trolling.
Absolutely. It's subconscious memory. And that's a very interesting thing because, when we get into things like we're talking about Atlantis, etc., the nature of the technology fundamentally was mystical. You had to have the ability on a psychic level, on an astral level to operate it. And that's the thing that they went in and did these recruiting programs during the remote viewing project and others, where they said, and for NASA as well, where they said we need to recruit psychics for this. Well, that's what they figured out when they were redeveloping this. Sending in a straight pilot for this didn't do anything. They needed somebody with extra abilities, and that's where we get the stories from people like Russell Tartt and ran those programs for the government.
Right. Let's come back with that and more on Elon and Werner von Braun straight ahead with Dark Journalists.
the technology, and they need a story that goes with it. Well, the story is, we've been tracking this threat that's out there. Now we have this advanced stuff that's going to fight with the threat and protect you, ultimately with the UFO Defense Office.
Exactly. Whatever this imaginary thing is, don't worry, we got something to counter it. And that's not just your opinion. Explain this. The reason we don't talk about the globalist is they always have secret programs for 30, 40, 50 years. Then they roll out a limited version saying it's the latest, when they've already compartmentalized and made secret all the new stuff that they have developed. Then they'll give the technology to other countries and people, so they always have to have new technology to counter that threat in a kind of technological arms race. But from the evidence I've seen, we are always thinking there's only one more level above what they already have, but there's obviously a lot more levels depending on the area of research. That's how we understand them so much, is because they follow neurotically formulas in all of what they do.
Oh, it's an excellent point. We get different types of levels of lying as you get along in this process, and it's very interesting because I recall interviewing a documentary filmmaker who had made a documentary film for Nixon's administration. That's how far back this guy went. And while he was studying that, in 1973, they let him into the Pentagon. And what he saw were all of these different troops. They had electrodes and things tied up to their head, and they had the 1970s TVs in front of them. And they could think things. And, like, look at a castle, think of a castle, my castle would appear on the screen. So this is the nature of the technology back then. So now they have the technology not only that can, listen to your conversations and dive into your video and all that kind of stuff, they can actually read your thoughts.
It's been a long night. Black skies glowing. We're losing light. Where am I going? Black skies glowing.
All of this, but for Kirby to come out, and of course my biggest takeaway from Kirby is the psyopers that write that for him is, the biggest takeaway is they know they're discredited, they know people always believe the opposite. You couldn't tailor a statement better by them to make people not believe them and be scared, in my view.
Excellent point. Yeah, and you tuned into something very interesting that he did there. There's a lot of dancing in his statement. Because on one hand, he's saying, it's absolutely lawful, it's just planes, basically forget about it. And then he's like, but we know there's a secret threat going on in relation to UAP, and these drone swarms, and we need more authority in relation to that. So he does a very interesting side dance there, I think, as well. There's a lot of messaging, no question, that goes on with this. And I think the messaging that's very clear, one, is that we're in this midway point, and the groups that hold that technology are not satisfied with the idea of the incoming administration. That's for sure. So you have a very dangerous period, I think, between here and anything that happens between here and the inauguration, no question about it. Because their only chance, and there are always extreme groups sitting inside that kind of ex-protect structure, their only chance of maintaining power really is emergency powers. So the question is, do they get enough feedback from the drone swarms and others to say, we can wield this power and we have the ability to do this? This is interesting too, because they're questioning the entire structure. They've said before, they don't really believe in regular democracy. And, they've shown it, I think, over the past 10 years in particular. So what we're looking at, I think, with the UFO file is this, that the drone swarms are an opening because they have developed all this technology over the past 80 years. urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well. Now,
all right, so let's take it from the end with my comments and then yours, Daniel. At the end, it's not a threat. We know what it is, but there is a threat, and we need a new government agency that controls all this and new funding control, and we're the boss, and all the information goes through that. Then he says most of this, is obviously other commercial aircraft. Well, yeah, people start looking up, they start seeing things. That part is true, but to then just claim that everything is fine when there are clearly craft, like we're going to play with audio right now, this was over in New Jersey a few days ago, that sound like they have jet engines, but do things that no known aircraft do. Do they go up and get in position? Is it an anti-missile defense system or something like that? This is what people are seeing, and this isn't normal. And wheels within wheels flying around right above people's houses. It looks like nothing we've ever seen. Very, very novel, other than an ancient text from the Sumerians and others. Let's go ahead and roll this with audio. Here it is. You hear the cars making noise too, but if you listen carefully, I turn this way up with headphones. It appears you can also hear when they first are thrusting up, you hear something, then not later. Maybe it doesn't, but the point is, that is very advanced, and those are big at a distance, and they're obviously communicating with each other or have been
Senator Kim from New Jersey came out and said, no, I've been watching this stuff. I watch it from my backyard. I live in New Jersey, and I'm a senator, and this stuff is all over the place. So I've heard from a number of residents in New York and New Jersey that are seeing drones all over.
So why not end it with mystery UFOs or UAPs? That's how they're referred to now. Unidentified, I can't remember what they're called. Steve Krakauer is obsessed with UAPs, so he'll tell me. Anyway, they're saying they're drones. What is it? Unidentified aerial or unmanned aerial phenomenon. Okay. Yeah. So they're saying that they are drones. We don't know what they are, but they are terrorizing folks in the good state of New Jersey. This started on 11/18, which I remember because that's my birthday. And there have been a whole lot of new developments in the last week. We're going to go through them. All right. Now, the first sighting, as I say, 11/18, the drones have been spotted in the sky every night thereafter. They've been seen over reservoirs, highways, military installations, and near President-elect Donald Trump's Bedminster golf course. During one incident, the drones prevented a medical helicopter from picking up a person injured in a car crash. What? A spokesperson for the Morris County Sheriff's Office described the drones as similar to small cars. They've said that they look like SUVs. A police chief for the town of Evesham in New Jersey, I don't know it, but they say most of this is happening in Ocean County by the shore in New Jersey, said witnesses have called the drones as large as an SUV with blinking lights on them. Here's a compilation of eyewitnesses capturing the objects on camera and describing what they saw.
There they are. There they are. There they are. Marmora, New Jersey.
We shouldn't be outside.
Go! But here they are. They look like a fucking triangle. They look like a triangle.
Oh my god, here we go. Here it is.
Look at that sucker.
Are you freaking
Lights
kidding
are
me
on.
right now? What
It looks like a drone.
that?
No way. And an F-16 just flew over. No way.
This one is extremely low. It's loud.
really cute.
And it's huge.
It's so big. It looks so much closer in person.
So this is highly unusual activity. There's no question about it. It's undeniable.
Wow. Play one of the recent Kirby clips since you've been racing it. Here it is.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technology provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. That said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage. While there is no known malicious activity occurring,